The morning sun casts a warm glow on the massive rocket, standing proudly on the launch pad, surrounded by engineers and technicians making last-minute adjustments. The air is filled with the buzz of anticipation as the countdown begins. The crew, suited up and ready, gazes up at the rocket, knowing that in mere moments, they'll be embarking on a journey into the unknown. With a deep breath, they say their final goodbyes to loved ones, trusting in their years of preparation. The world watches, breathless, as the mission is about to begin. With an earth-shaking roar, the rocket ignites, sending plumes of fire and smoke into the sky. It climbs higher, breaking free from Earth's gravitational grip, leaving the launch pad behind. The engines burn fiercely as it accelerates into the atmosphere. The sound is deafening, but the view is breathtaking as the vehicle slices through the clouds, pushing its way through the atmosphere towards space. The crew feels the immense force of acceleration pressing them back into their seats as the first phase of the journey begins. As the rocket climbs higher and higher, Earth's atmosphere fades away, and the sky turns from blue to a deep, endless black. The rocket continues its journey towards space, a small speck against the vastness of the universe. The crew feels the weight of their mission, the weight of history on their shoulders, but there's also a sense of awe. Looking out of their portholes, they see the curvature of the Earth and the delicate lines of the atmosphere thinning out, disappearing behind them as they venture into the unknown. Inside the spacecraft, everything changes. Gravity no longer pulls things down. Instead, objects and crew members float freely in the cabin. Astronauts find themselves drifting, disoriented, as they experience weightlessness for the first time. Simple tasks, like eating or brushing teeth, become challenges. Equipment floats in the air, a reminder of how different life in space is. The crew spends the first few hours adjusting to the new reality, laughing at the odd sensations, but also focusing on their important tasks ahead. One astronaut, a little disoriented, reaches out to steady themselves against the spacecraft's wall. Their body, no longer tethered to gravity, floats weightlessly, causing them to lose their sense of orientation. Even the smallest movement causes them to drift, and their body needs time to adjust to this new form of movement. The sensation is strange but gradually becomes more natural as they settle into the rhythm of life in space. It's an experience that no amount of training can fully prepare them for, but one that is now a part of their reality. As the spacecraft orbits Earth, the crew is mesmerized by the view. They float weightlessly inside, watching through the windows as Earth slowly rotates below them. The vast blue oceans and sprawling continents stretch across the planet's surface, dotted with clouds and shimmering light. Space, a dark, infinite expanse, surrounds them. The sight of Earth from space evokes a profound sense of perspective, how small humanity seems against the backdrop of the universe, and how precious our planet truly is. An astronaut floats in front of a control panel, checking the various systems vital to their survival in space. Oxygen levels, temperature regulation, and communications with mission control all need to be monitored continuously. They methodically press buttons and read the digital displays, ensuring that everything is functioning properly. Behind the calm demeanor, there's a deep focus. This is a life-or-death situation, and maintaining these systems is crucial for the success of the mission and their safety aboard the spacecraft. After days in space, the spacecraft finally approaches the International Space Station, ISS. It is an imposing structure, large and complex, floating like a city in orbit above Earth. The crew marvels at the sight as they begin to dock with the station. The delicate maneuvering required to align the spacecraft with the docking port becomes a tense moment, but after careful precision, the spacecraft locks in. Inside the station, the crew prepares to join the astronauts already there, ready to contribute to the ongoing scientific research. Inside the ISS, the astronauts begin their mission to conduct scientific experiments. One astronaut carefully places a biological sample in a microgravity experiment module. In space, the lack of gravity allows them to study phenomena that can't be replicated on Earth, like the growth patterns of plants or the behavior of fluids. The experiments may seem small, but they hold the potential for groundbreaking discoveries, like improving life on Earth or paving the way for long-term space exploration. Every moment in space is a step toward understanding the unknown. The astronaut floats in front of a small glass container, watching the biological sample inside, carefully noting any changes. In microgravity, the behaviors of living organisms change, and scientists are eager to understand how gravity, or the lack of it, affects plant growth, cellular structures, and more. The ability to grow plants in space is essential for future missions, especially those that may involve extended stays on the Moon or Mars. As the experiment progresses, the astronaut records the data that will be sent back to Earth for further analysis. Sitting near the lab's research station, an astronaut floats with a tablet, writing detailed notes about the experiment they just completed. They document their observations, making sure to record every data point. While the sensation of floating makes simple tasks more complicated, the astronaut is focused, the task at hand more important than the disorientation they might feel. Their notes will contribute to a vast archive of research collected in space, each entry building on the last to further humanity's understanding of science and the cosmos. The astronaut gazes out of the spacecraft's small window, mesmerized by the view. Earth, with its vibrant blues and greens, hangs beneath them, a stark contrast against the deep black of space. For a moment, the astronaut is overcome with awe at the sight. The vastness of space and the fragility of life on Earth come into sharp focus. This rare perspective is humbling, reminding the crew of their responsibility not only to the mission, but to the planet they call home. The moment arrives for the first spacewalk. Astronauts prepare their suits carefully, double-checking each component: helmets, gloves, air supply, and communication systems. Every piece of equipment is essential to their survival once they step outside the spacecraft. The excitement is palpable, mixed with a sense of gravity, knowing that space is an unforgiving environment. The door to the airlock opens, and they float toward it, ready to step into the vacuum of space for the first time, tethered to the spacecraft but free in the infinite expanse. With their suits securely fastened, the astronauts exit the airlock and float outside the spacecraft. In the vast emptiness of space, there is no sound, only the soft hum of their equipment. Earth, a distant orb in the background, becomes both a reminder of home and an exhilarating view. The astronauts move with careful precision, performing tasks such as maintenance or attaching new equipment to the spacecraft. The silence of space is both awe-inspiring and humbling as they work in this alien environment. An astronaut floats in space, their tethered suit glowing softly against the darkness. They work carefully to repair a satellite, twisting tools with delicate precision, ensuring everything is functioning as it should. The satellite, once broken or in need of upgrades, is now being returned to full working order by these brave explorers. As the astronaut completes the repairs, they glance up at the Earth, a small but constant presence in the backdrop, their efforts contributing to the broader mission of expanding our reach in space. The view from space is spectacular. Earth rises slowly over the horizon of the spacecraft. From this vantage point, the planet is a brilliant blue, swirling with white clouds. The astronauts watch in awe as the sun casts its golden light on the Earth, highlighting the delicate beauty of their home. The rising Earth is a stark contrast to the dark, infinite void of space. For a moment, time seems to stand still, and the astronauts are reminded of the significance of their mission, humanity's first steps into the stars. Inside the spacecraft's small module, an astronaut works diligently at a technical console. With limited space, every movement is calculated and deliberate, as the astronaut repairs equipment or adjusts settings to maintain the craft's systems. The cabin, while efficient, feels cramped as the astronaut moves from station to station. Their face shows concentration as they complete necessary tasks, aware that maintaining the spacecraft is key to their survival and success. Even in this confined space, every job has a purpose and a deadline. The astronaut's face tightens as they hold their stomach, a common symptom of space sickness. The sensation of floating in microgravity has caused their inner ear to become disoriented, and their body struggles to adjust. While many astronauts experience this in the early days of a mission, it's an uncomfortable reality of life in space. Despite the discomfort, the astronaut stays focused, knowing that the feeling will pass with time. They take deep breaths and remind themselves that this challenge is temporary and part of the journey. Floating near a communications console, the astronaut speaks to mission control, providing updates on their progress. Their voice, calm but focused, relays information about the spacecraft's systems, their health, and their work. They share successes and challenges alike, confident that the team on Earth will be able to provide guidance and assistance when needed. The communication is a lifeline, and as they speak, they know that they are not alone. Mission Control is always there, watching and supporting them from across the vast distance. In a rare moment of downtime, the crew floats freely inside the spacecraft. Some are eating, others are reading or watching videos on small screens. The cabin is filled with a sense of camaraderie, the astronauts sharing laughs and stories to pass the time. Though the work ahead is important, moments like these help to maintain their mental well-being. The microgravity environment turns ordinary activities into something extraordinary. From sipping liquids that float to gently kicking off walls to move across the cabin. An astronaut smiles as they video chat with their family back on Earth. The screen displays their loved ones' faces, a comforting and familiar sight in the vast emptiness of space. The conversation is lighthearted, a chance to check in and share news from both sides. Even though they are thousands of miles away, the astronaut feels a sense of connection, knowing that their family is rooting for them and supporting them in their mission. These moments of personal connection are vital for morale, offering a reminder of home. Keeping physically fit is crucial in space, where muscles and bones weaken due to the lack of gravity. An astronaut floats on a specially designed exercise machine, using resistance bands and stationary devices. They push themselves through their workout routine, which includes everything from cardiovascular exercise to strength training. The crew knows that staying healthy is essential not only for the mission's success, but also for their ability to work effectively in space and remain in good health throughout the long journey. As the spacecraft orbits Earth in the darkness of night, the view below is magical. The planet is alive with twinkling lights, from the cities scattered across continents to the flickering stars above. The crew is mesmerized by the beauty of Earth at night, a sight that few people on the planet will ever witness. The silence of space is punctuated only by the hum of the spacecraft and the quiet exchange of thoughts between the astronauts. This peaceful moment serves as a reminder of the preciousness of their mission. In the depths of space, the spacecraft adjusts its course. The thrusters fire, lighting up the darkness, as the vehicle makes a small but crucial orbital maneuver. The astronauts are focused, monitoring the control panel closely, ensuring that the spacecraft remains on the correct trajectory. A slight miscalculation could mean the difference between success and failure, but the team trusts their training. The engine's brief flare and the steady hum of the systems reassure them that they are on track. Inside the spacecraft, an astronaut floats in their sleeping bag, tethered securely to the wall. The soft sound of their breath is the only noise in the otherwise silent cabin. Sleeping in space is different from Earth, as there is no bed or pillow. Instead, astronauts secure themselves in bags, floating weightlessly as they sleep. The astronaut drifts off, knowing that the next day will bring more work, but for now, they rest, ready to tackle the challenges of the mission with renewed energy. With the cabin quiet and calm, an astronaut floats in front of a small table, writing in a journal. They document the day's events, the progress made, the challenges faced, and their personal reflections. Writing in a journal is a way to process the emotions and experiences of living in space, away from Earth. The astronaut takes a moment to pause, considering how surreal it is to be so far from home. Their words will one day be a record of history, a personal account of their journey. In the cabin, tools, equipment, and supplies float freely in the absence of gravity. Each item is carefully tethered or secured with small magnets to prevent it from drifting away. The astronaut grabs a floating wrench, using it to complete a task. Even something as mundane as holding a tool becomes a unique challenge in space. Every item and every task is adjusted to account for microgravity, where things behave differently, and the usual order of operations is appended. After completing a significant task or achieving a major goal, the astronauts gather to celebrate. Floating together in the module, they high-five each other and share in the success. This moment of joy, despite the challenges of space life, is a reminder of the value of their work. Whether it's completing a scientific experiment or fixing a crucial piece of equipment, these small victories are celebrated because they are part of something much bigger, a mission that will contribute to the advancement of science and humanity's future in space. The spacecraft drifts past the moon, casting a shadow over its cratered, barren surface. The astronauts gaze out at the lunar landscape, reflecting on the incredible journey humanity has taken to reach this point. The moon, once a mysterious object in the night sky, is now a neighbor in space, and the crew is reminded of the groundbreaking Apollo missions that first took humans to the moon. They know that their own mission is another step toward humanity's expansion beyond Earth. As the spacecraft moves farther from Earth, the planet begins to shrink in size. What was once a vast, colorful orb is now a tiny blue dot against the backdrop of the infinite universe. For the astronauts, this is both an emotional and profound moment. The Earth they know and love is receding, but they know that humanity's future lies beyond it, on the moon, Mars, and beyond. This view, though distant and fleeting, is a reminder of what they've left behind and what they are working toward. The journey has just begun,